guys, welcome to Brand X Reviews. Today's show I'm going to be talking about the latest home video release in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is Captain America Civil War. Now this is a film that I didn't review when it came out because I was kind of out of the phase of doing YouTube videos basically for a few months. So I kind of missed this one unfortunately. So I'm not really going to review the film now because we've all seen it, we've all kind of formulated our opinions. Mine is pretty much generic, I liked it as the same. I mean my opinion is generic, not the film. Pretty much the same as anyone else, I guess. It's fairly unanimous feelings towards this. I know there are exceptions, but generally it was well received and it did well as well at the box office. Certainly better than Batman v Superman did, which I was actually anticipating higher than this film. But that's a subject for another day anyway. So today I'm going to be talking about the actual Blu-ray. Now just put this in context, at Brand X Reviews I've done several reviews over the last few years, and I know a lot of you that are going to be watching this, all 10 of you, probably going to be familiar with the format whenever these films come out to buy on video, Blu-ray, DVD. I tend to talk about the extra features, which I'm going to do here, but I'm also going to talk about some of the stuff that's to come soon, both to home video and also the actual films and TV shows. But this review is really of the Blu-ray, so let's talk about that first, and then I'm going to get into all that stuff later. So, just kind of show it off again. I know I've kind of shown this collection a lot in the past, but this is the collection as it is today. I know there's a lot of glare here, but you can kind of see which ones are which. This is in chronological order with the TV shows at the top of the stack there. There's going to be a few more additions to this year in terms of the actual Blu-ray releases. But in terms of the movie releases on Blu-ray this year, Civil War is all we get. We've got Doctor Strange coming out at the cinema at the end of the year, but I'm not anticipating that coming out on home video till around about February or March next year. So anyway, that's again something I'm going to get into in a little bit. So this is the Blu-ray itself. Obviously I've got the menu playing in the background. You can see some of the stuff and I'm going to get into that as well. But this is the cover that I went for. This was the Amazon. I don't know if it was an exclusive. I imagine that this is going to be like in the shops as well. I haven't actually been in any shops today. Today is Monday the 5th of September. It's the date of its UK home video release. From what I understand in America, this is actually getting released next week. So unfortunately, it's a bit unfair to be honest. America's going to have to wait a bit longer than us. And I've said this in other videos, I don't know why in the UK a lot of the time we get these things cinematically and on home video before America does. It's really unfair because it's an American film. So anyway, I've said that many times before. So I opted for the Captain America sleeve anyway. This is the first film in this lineup that I'm aware of that's actually come in one of these cardboard sleeves. Now I don't know if there's some available elsewhere. All of the others have just tended to be like this, you know, in like a normal case. The only other one that I know that's come in a case like this is the Agent Carter one, which wasn't the last ones that got released. But that's a TV series, so movie-wise, this is the first one I know that's come in one of these kind of cases. So let's have a quick look at it anyway. Like I said, there's a Iron Man equivalent of one. I'm assuming if you bought two of these, just for the sake of having both covers, you'd be able to put them next to each other, so you'd have Iron Man and Captain America kind of facing off against each other. But I went for the Captain America one. He's my favourite character. It's also his film, effectively, so that's just the decision I made anyway. So this is the outside case anyway. Like I say, you kind of see the artwork. That's the side. The back of the thing, I don't know if you want to pause it and maybe read any of these bits if I can get glare from coming off the camera. You can see the extra features there listed and some of the other details as well, and that's the spine as it shows on your shelf as well. A lot of these Blu-rays, pretty much since Avengers Assemble, have had this thing going away. You've got a picture of one of the characters here, so for example you can see how they all kind of line up here. So when you put all the movies together, pretty much as I say from Avengers Assemble onwards, if I can get them straight in a line you'll be able to see what I mean. You kind of see how the ones from Avengers Assemble onwards have all got those character images on the side of them all kind of nicely lined up. Well, I've kind of bodged it up, lifting them that way. So that's that case anyway. Let's take that case off. This is the sort of generic one. As I said, it depends I guess where you buy this as to what case you get. So that's the artwork on the front. That's the side, which is pretty much the same as that one anyway. And the front as well, so you kind of see. I'm having a real issue with glare here. I should really position this camera a little bit differently. So that's that. The inside of the thing is just one disc, and there's no artwork on the inside. Sometimes you get that with Blu-rays, but you do get this leaflet if you're in the UK. It's about the Marvel movie collection. It's like a figurine collection. As usual with this kind of thing, I've seen it in the shops. I personally think it's a rip-off. These things usually are. I mean, when you kind of add up how much these things cost over the course of time, I wouldn't really bother paying that myself, but that's just that anyway. So that's the only thing that's advertised there inside. So let's look at the actual Blu-ray itself, the actual features. Unlike a lot of the previous Marvel film Blu-rays, the extra features on this seem to be a little bit longer, a little bit. Like I say, if you look on the back of the thing, you can see they're all listed. It does kind of make it look like there's more on there than there actually is, because some of the featurettes have got very long names, so when you kind of write it all down, it looks like it's a lot. I'll show you anyway. Sneak peeks for starters. That's just the teaser trailer for Doctor Strange, that first trailer that came out about 5 months ago, which is great that it's included on there, don't get me wrong. And then there's also a kind of an advert which is kind of like a featurette for Audi, the collaboration that Audi had with the makers of this film, basically, in some of the stunt bits. The bit with the tunnel, basically, where Black Panther's chasing the Winter Soldier and there's a load of cars crashing. Some of those cars were Audis. Bit of product placement there, which is fair enough. So bonus features anyway, let's go to the main thing there. So you've got featurettes for starters. Now there's 5 featurettes, but 4 of the 5 are actually part 1 and part 2 of each other. So really there's only 3 featurettes, but I'll just show you that if we go on to that option. So there's United We Stand, Divided We Fall, The Making of Captain America Civil War. Very long title, and when you have it all written down on here, it seems like it's a lot of different things, because we've got commas and dashes and colons between each thing, so it makes it sound like it's like lots of different ones, but it's not. It's one long thing. Part 1 and part 2. When you add the 2 together, they come to about 45 minutes combined. They're about 22, 23 minutes long each. I don't know why they broke them down into 2 parts, to be honest. Again, I'm not criticising, I'm just being specific. But still, I mean, a 45-minute behind-the-scenes feature is quite good for these, because like I said, a lot of the previous ones have been quite lacking when it comes to extras. You can't beat the Phase 1 Blu-ray, seriously. I mean, with the Phase 1 Blu-rays, you got 2 discs, and it was the entirety of the contents were just packed onto that second disc. And you'd have hours worth. Some of it was a little boring, but the majority of it I thought was quite interesting. So nowadays they don't tend to put as much effort into Blu-rays, which is a real shame. I think it's people just watching stuff online, they just can't be arsed buying physical copies. Therefore, there's not so much demand for it, I guess. Thank Netflix for that. So Captain America: The Road to Civil War and Iron Man: The Road to Civil War, both those featurettes are about 4 minutes long each, and they focus on the kind of characters and the actors and a lot of interviews and behind the scenes stuff about each character, Captain America and Iron Man. And then, so it's the first 4 featurettes, if I can get this bloody thing working. And then the last featurette is Open Your Mind, Marvel's Doctor Strange exclusive sneak peek, and that's about 4 minutes long, and it's similar to the official Marvel featurette that they released late last year for Doctor Strange, where you've got Kevin Feige and a few other people talking about who Steve Strange is and what the film's basically going to be about. But it's kind of been updated with some more footage from the actual film and some interviews and stuff. And it's really good. I mean, it's only 4 minutes, but it's great. So that's all you get in terms of featurettes. Deleted and extended scenes, there's about 7 minutes worth. Which is good, to be fair, because I mean I get a bit bored watching deleted scenes nowadays, to be honest, and a lot of the time there's a reason why deleted scenes are deleted, because they might not be as good. I tended to find that with this. It felt like a lot of the deleted scenes were about, of the 7 minutes, about maybe the first 4 or 5 minutes were this extended Peggy's funeral. It's got some extra stuff with the funeral. There's a bit more of an exchange between Black Widow and Captain America where they're talking. And the camera angle was a bit dodgy, in my opinion. And also the angle the angle was a bit weird, but I don't know, something not quite great about it, and the acting was a little bit wooden. And also, it kind of cuts into the stuff with Sharon Carter and an alternative version to what you see in the film. It shows Captain America and the Falcon in a pub, very British, eating some chips because it's after the funeral in England. And then it shows the stuff, like I say, with Sharon Carter. And again, it's a little bit kind of wooden. It's not as good as it was in the actual film. So they went with alternate version of that in the film. Zemo meets Dr. Broussard. Dr. Broussard is actually one of the film directors. He had a cameo in this as a corpse, basically. You do see him alive in the deleted scene. Interestingly, the same guy. I can't remember which Russo brother it was. It was Anthony and Joe Russo directed this. They also did The Winter Soldier as well, and the same brother that plays Dr. Broussard in this cameoed as a guy that was doing something like first aid on, I can't remember who it was now, in The Winter Soldier. But so he cameos in his own films basically as a director. But it wasn't, this scene anyway isn't amazing. It's just basically Zemo meeting Dr. Broussard in the airport. You didn't need to see it, so they cut it out. You're Not Used to the Truth and Gotta Get Me One of Those. There's some of the little bits, sort of behind the scenes, not concept work, but sort of very early special effects with a little bit of extra dialogue from the airport fight as well. So nothing too fantastic in terms of the lead scenes. But like I say, I'm not usually all that interested in the lead scenes unless there's something really sort of key. There's a gag reel. I really sound negative here, but guess what? I'm not a fan of gag reels either. Just generally speaking, this one's not too bad. But I tend to find with gag reels, a lot of the time, and I've said this in other videos, they always feel really contrived and, let's just start asking around on camera for the sake of throwing it on a gag reel. Which is fine if you enjoy it, but I personally find it a bit boring. Audio commentary, it is what it is. In fact, who's it with? I don't usually listen to audio commentary. I'm not a big fan of audio commentary, surprisingly. Believe it or not. I'm being so negative as well about a film that I really love. I am really happy with this Blu-ray, it's got to be said, everything aside. But yeah, audio commentary by the two directors, and Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. And that's it, info, whatever. I'm not a big fan of info tabs on Blu-rays, surprisingly. I bet you didn't know that, did you? What else have we got? So that's bonus features, sneak peeks. Like I say, I've already covered that anyway. So, and I am a fan of sneak peeks, to be honest. If it's something interesting, fine. So we can live with that. So that's my Blu-ray review anyway. So let's kind of do what we usually do when these films get released on Blu-ray, and just talk about some of the future stuff that's coming, the upcoming cinematic releases, and also the home video releases as well. And also let's just kind of talk about how this film, in particular Civil War, ties in with stuff that's coming out and how they've kind of laid the groundwork. From what I understand anyway, from what the directors have said, the bit in this film where Captain America, remember right at the end of the film, spoiler alert by the way if you haven't seen the film, right at the end, Iron Man says to Captain America, you can't take that shield, it doesn't belong to you, my father made that shield. So then Captain America just kind of dumps it on the ground. There's a bit more to that than the film at face value shows you. The director of the film, the two directors, the brothers, have said that Captain America is no more, he's just Steve Rogers from now on. And I suppose you can kind of guess that anyway from the film, but they've said that that's the case. So from the groundwork's been laid here, Captain America isn't anymore. So when they bring him back in, I believe, Avengers Infinity War in 2018, I guess that's the next time we're going to see him, it's going to be bringing Steve Rogers in, and he's going to have to take up the Captain America mantle once again because of this threat that we're going to see built up to in the next few films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in which Thanos puts together the Infinity Stones and ultimately the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm not going to go into what that is, I'm sure you're already aware, and if you're not aware, just check it out. So effectively that's kind of where this film is going to lead on into other things. Now in this film they did mention Thulk. Thulk and Haw. What the hell? One for the outtakes. No, let's leave that in. Thulk and Haw. Hulk and Thor, who we're going to see in Thor Ragnarok next year, which is in about a year's time as I'm recording this. It's coming out in late 2017, so they're making that film now. It's basically going to be a buddy cop movie, is that, with Thor and Thulk, you know what I mean, as their characters that we last saw in Avengers Age of Ultron, their journey from that film directly continued by Thor Ragnarok. So that's where they're going with that anyway. And they kind of, like I said, they've laid a bit of the groundwork for that in this because they were mentioned, where are they, they're missing kind of thing. So that's, again, something they've said here, which is going to be followed up in that film. The next films that we're actually getting out in the cinema are Doctor Strange, which is out. If you're in the UK, again, unfair, we get it before America by about a week. America gets it in the first week of November, we get it the last week of October, so I've actually taken the week off for that as well. So I'm really looking forward to Doctor Strange. In fact, I've actually, back last December, I think it was, actually had this artwork printed out, this concept artwork of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, because I'm that excited about the film anyway. So, stay. So yeah, that's the next film that's coming out in the cinemas, and that'll be the next film that comes out on a home video release. So we're not actually going to get any more films on home video for another about 6 months anyway. So for now, that's it. Home video release though, if you're into the MCU, the bigger extended MCU, and it's all canon, all of this, by the way. None of this is disputed as being kind of maybe it counts, maybe it doesn't. It counts. The Netflix shows and the ABC network television shows, which is, well, at the moment, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There was Agent Carter as well, which ran for 2 series, but that's been cancelled as far as I'm aware. They're not bringing that back in any other way. Series 1 of that you can get on Blu-ray. Series 2 I'm expecting to come out around the end of the year. If it follows the same pattern as Series 1, Series 2 should be out in December on average. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Series 3, which ran from September 2015 to September 2015 to May 2016, so that's the most recent series, Series 3, will probably be coming out on home video in the UK very soon. I've looked at Amazon fairly recently, I couldn't see anything, but I think it'll be one of them things where they'll just drop it and it'll be out within like weeks. So I'm expecting that fairly soon anyway. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm just going to say briefly, it really did improve in Series 3. I've done a video about this separately, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that, but I wasn't a big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all. I think it kind of peaked at the end of Series 1. Series 2 had its moments, but overall I just found it boring. Series 3 was noticeably better, so I'd recommend you watch it. You don't need to watch the series. There's nothing that they kind of do in the series that then affects the films. There's plenty of stuff the other way around. But, like I say, if you want a bigger experience of these films, if you've got the time, give Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. another chance, because, like I say, it gets better. And Series 4, interestingly, airs, I think it's around the 20th of September, so in about 2 weeks' time as I'm recording this. 2 weeks tomorrow, as I'm recording this, Monday the 5th. So, Tuesday the 20th, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Series 4. They're bringing Ghost Rider into that. It's not the Ghost Rider character that you saw in the Nicolas Cage movies. When I say that, I mean it's not canon with the movies, but it's not even the same guy. It's a different Ghost Rider. It's not the what's it called, Blaze, Johnny Blaze or something like that. I can't remember what the hell his name was. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of those movies, and I think it kind of did a bit of damage to the character's name, did those films. But they're bringing him into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anyway. And is it Robbie Reyes or something? I don't think the guy's called. Doesn't ride a motorbike, he rides a car. He's still got the flaming skull and the flaming chain and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting seeing how they fit him into the movies. The TV series anyway. I don't know, you might see him in the movies, who knows. Netflix, on the other hand, we've got at the end of September, so September the 30th, which is a Friday, which is good because it means I'll get to binge watch it over the weekend. They're going to drop the 13-episode series in one night of Luke Cage on Netflix. That's going global as far as I'm aware, so if you're in America or the UK or wherever, you'll get to see it. So that's really good because the Netflix shows, oh my god, they are so good. And I'm really not a fan of TV shows. I know Netflix shows, they aren't really TV shows. You can kind of say it's straight to video. Not TV shows, full length movies that go on for like 13 hours or whatever, I guess, because each episode is about, 50 minutes or 12 hours, whatever. They're so good. I can't get my head around the fact that Daredevil Series 2, in my opinion, was miles better than Batman v Superman. I compare the two because they came out within about a week of each other, and I kind of liked Batman v Superman. I thought it was okay. It wasn't amazing. Daredevil Series 2 was amazing. It was just so good, and it had the Punisher in it as well, and that was just awesome. So yeah, seriously, if you haven't seen the Netflix shows, find a way of watching them. Series 1 of Daredevil, in fact, the Netflix shows, what exists so far is Daredevil Series 1 came out last year, 2015, around about April time, from memory. It was very successful. Then there was Jessica Jones, which came out about 6 months later, so that was in November of 2015, and that was even better than Daredevil Series 1. I did a review of Jessica Jones, so you can watch that, so I don't have to talk about it here. And then after that, in March of 2016, Daredevil Series 2 came, and that was even better than Series 1 of Jessica Jones, which was better than Series 1 of Daredevil. So they're just getting better, basically. I'm hoping that with Luke Cage, the series, that's going to be even better than Daredevil Series 2, which is no easy challenge, because it was really good. And Luke Cage was a character that we were introduced to in Jessica Jones. Again, I've spoken about him and that series elsewhere on Brand X Reviews, so go check that out if you want to hear more. But in terms of actual physical home video releases of these, because if you're like me, you like to hold it in your hands kind of thing, said the actress to the Bishop. The Netflix shows, yes, it's kind of, at your fingertips, again, said the actress to the Bishop. But it's nice just to have a physical copy of these things. And with Netflix, it makes sense. They want people to stream their service, so the longer they leave it to actually release these things on home video, the more money they're going to make on their online service. I understand that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it does mean you have to wait about a year and a half after these things have aired on Netflix. Well, not aired technically, but been released on Netflix before you can actually physically own them. So Daredevil Series 1, which came out in April 2015, is actually getting a home video release in October this year, so next month basically. So all of the others we're going to have to wait a bit longer for. So by that principle, I guess you're going to get Jessica Jones Series 1 on home video around about May 2016. And Daredevil Series 2 on home video around about September 2017. So yeah, May 2017 for Jessica Jones Series 1. That's 18 months after it dropped on Netflix. Daredevil Series 2 around about September 2017. So quite a long time to wait. But like I say, if you are already subscribed to Netflix, you've got access to watch this, and it's not difficult to set up an account with Netflix, or just borrow a friend's login if you need to, like I do. And there you go. So these things will all add to this collection. So the point I'm making here is these are all things that are going to kind of improve your home video collection as and when they're out. But I feel like I'm really rambling now. So that's pretty much it for the home video releases. Finally, let's just talk a little bit more about some of the upcoming films, because I've kind of made a bit of a mess of this, kind of jumping backwards and forwards into home video release, films, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. So the movies that are coming out in the near future, we're in phase 3 now. So Captain America Civil War marks the beginning of phase 3. So coming out, we've got the next one is Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is out in springtime, around about spring, I guess, March, April. I think April actually, yeah, late April, early May of 2017. We haven't seen a teaser trailer for that yet, but I imagine that's going to drop fairly soon in the next few months, usually late end of the year when those trailers come out. The next film after that is Spider-Man Homecoming, which is a Sony film, but it's done by Marvel. It's fully done by Marvel. It's fully part of the MCU, and it's going to have Tony Stark in it, I believe, briefly. I know he is going to be, but I believe it's going to be briefly, is what I mean. I know he's going to be in the film. Also, it's been announced recently that the guy that plays Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau, who directed the first 2 Iron Man films, that was the guy that plays Tony Stark's bodyguard, that big guy. He's going to be in the film as well, Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't know, again, in what capacity, how long he's going to be in it, but it's just been announced recently anyway that he's going to be in that. There's lots of other theories about people who are going to be in the films. I'm just going off what we know. So that's Spider-Man Homecoming. It's going to be a kind of, not a coming-of-age film, but it's going to be in the kind of same spirit as a lot of those John Hughes 1980s films, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that kind of thing. Those high school films, I guess. So, which is great because we haven't really seen that in the films. We've seen sort of an older version of him played by somebody in the late 20s pretending to be an 18-year-old or whatever. He's even younger than that in these Spider-Man films. So that's the one after that. And then the third MCU film, it's the first year we get 3 MCU films in one year, is Thor Ragnarok, which I've spoken about before. It's coming out at the end of 2017. Now again, that's got, get it right this time, Hulk and Thor. And from what I understand, they're doing a Planet Hulk concept in that film because, in a nutshell, Marvel can't make a Hulk film without having to pay loads to Universal because Universal own the rights. The Hulk film, this one, with Edward Norton, which is part of the MCU, you'll notice is a Universal film. So if I can get the actual thing here, the Universal logo. So although it's part of the MCU, it's a bit tricky making a Hulk film on its own. So what do? They can shoehorn him into other films, but they can't make a Hulk film. So they've been a bit cheeky with Thor Ragnarok. So instead of being able to do a Planet Hulk movie, they've just made a Thor movie and incorporated elements of Planet Hulk into it, from what I understand anyway. I base this on a lot of talk that's already been said, but we've also seen the actual prop photographs of the garb that oh god shut up at whores, man. I'm obsessed with whores. What the hell? The Hulk wears in this film. Right, shut up talking about Hulk. We're not talking about Hulk anymore, or whores. Save that for another video. I should just shut up now and not even, I don't know, I don't know where I was. The films that are coming out, there's a few after that anyway. There's going to be I've completely lost my train of thought now. There's going to be a load of other films coming out. There's a Captain Marvel film. There's also a Black Panther film. There's 2 Avengers Infinity War films. There's just loads of other stuff coming out anyway in the near future. And I don't think any of it is really subject to change. So really good, interesting times to be into all these movies because you're just getting spoilt basically. The TV stuff, they're doing just loads of stuff, combining the TV characters, like I said, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Daredevil, into a Defenders series, which is kind of like the same concept of the Avengers, where you have all these like standalone movies or TV shows in this case on Netflix, and then you combine them all into a team franchise TV series, which is, like I say, if it's anything like the other Netflix stuff that they've done, it'll be great. One thing is, and I'm pretty certain we will never see the Netflix characters in the movies. I really don't see that happening. They've been very clear about the 2 are separate, they're part of the same universe, but you can't really combine them because what would you have them do? That's the thing. I mean, if you had Daredevil in, say, Avengers Infinity War, what's he gonna do, you know? It'd be great, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see him in the film, but if I was making this film, I personally wouldn't put any of those in because you want them to be kind of the main characters when you see them, and they just aren't really the same level of recognition as your whores and your Thulks, I guess, and your Iron Mans and your Captain Americas. So for better or for worse, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love them, but I guess it is what it is. Anyway, right, I'm going to shut up, so I might talk a little bit more about some of these in an upcoming video. I'm going to have my co-review around tomorrow, The Core, so if he wants to talk about this as well, I might do a video with him, but we'll see anyway, because I know he's bought the Blu-ray today as well, so he might have a few extra things to add to this. So I'm going to leave it there, and again, apologies for offending any third wave feminists by talking about whores. It just came out. I'm really sorry if I triggered you. Feel free to go back to your safe space zones, and that's pretty much it. So Brand X Reviews, you can follow us on YouTube if you want to hear me talk about horrors anymore. I'll be more than happy to do so. If you want to send in some mailbag requests, I can talk about Marvel films or whatever. I could talk about my history with horrors if you want as well. I'm more than happy to do so. So brandxreviews.com is the website. There's some information coming up on how you can follow us on social media, but for now, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.